With 59 victories and 39 knockouts in 63 fights, Saul Canelo Alvarez has produced tons of iconic moments en route to becoming the only man in the history of boxing to earn the title of the undisputed super middleweight king. A methodical fighter with precise counterpunching, excruciatingly painful bodywork,
down he goes to the body, and that should do it.
It's over.
and the ability to dodge punches like he's from the Matrix. Canelo is making a strong case for him being the greatest of all time, and with performances like the ones you're going to see in today's video, it's hard to deny him. Born in Guadalajara, Mexico in 1990, Canelo is the youngest of 8 children, whose distinct appearance, particularly his ginger-colored hair, attracted admirers but bullies as well. So to protect himself from the mean kids on the block, Canelo followed in the footsteps of his elder brother, Rigoberto Alvarez, and started boxing under the guidance of Chepo and Eddie Reynoso. Within a few months, Alvarez kick-started a string of victories that forced amateurs into hiding, since nobody could deal with the spiciness of Little Canelo, a nickname given to redheads in Mexico. Due to a lack of competition at the amateur level, Canelo turned pro at a tender age of 15, proving that he was born to do it. From 2006 to 2010, the boxing legend competed 36 times with 35 wins and a draw. From 2011 onwards, Canelo entered the big leagues and had a decent step up in competition when he fought for the vacant WBC light middleweight title against Matthew Hatton. While Matthew wasn't as fearsome as his brother Ricky Hatton, he was still a tough cookie, but all eyes were on Canelo since it was his first major boxing title fight. Alvarez opened the fight with a sharp left hook that knocked Hatton off balance.
Good stiff jab.
He then ripped the Brit with some clean hooks to the body.
Good right hand to the body from Alvarez.
The Brit fought back valiantly, landing punches where he could.
This fight's better. Into the hand of Hatton. Hatton tries to come back. Alvarez blocks the offensive.
Hatton started the second round strongly attacking the Mexican with sharp combinations.
Hatton comes out by the shot.
Best shot of the fight for Alvarez.
But Canelo's body hooks were doing more damage.
Doubles up that left hand.
Beautiful body shot.
The trend continued for 12 rounds, as Canelo used his trademark body shots before going upstairs and punishing Hatton with lefts and rights.
Here in round 4. Alvarez doubles up that left again and a right.
Hatton kept on fighting but was too tough for his own good, and Alvarez won by a comfortable decision. And just like that, Canelo was a world champion. But with great power comes great responsibility. After embarrassing Hatton in early 2011, Canelo successfully defended his title 3 times, before putting it on the line against an old warhorse, Shane Mosley. Mosley, who was twice as old as Canelo, fought like a much younger fighter, outpacing his opponent in round 1. But soon, Alvarez took over, cleaning Mosley's clock with flashy combinations repeatedly. The Mexican landed 335 punches, while Mosley managed to land only half of that thanks to the Mexican's cat-like reflexes. Canelo earned his biggest career win without much trouble, but the best was yet to come. Up until his 42nd fight, Canelo had beaten crafty veterans and mid-tier fighters.
And the referee's going to stop it right away.
So he continues to get the better of Sid Trone, and he's gotten the best of him totally.
But in his 43rd fight, he faced his first top-level challenge in a champion versus champion bout against Austin Trout. The pair locked horns to unify the WBC, WBA, and the ring light middleweight titles. For Canelo, however, it was personal. Trout had defeated Canelo's brother Rigoberto in 2011 to win the WBA title 2 years before his fight against Alvarez, so the youngest sibling was fighting to restore the family's honor. Needless to say, the fight was a war. Trout had a lot of success early due to his footwork and speed, but Alvarez's power began to even things out as the fight progressed.
15 seconds left in the round. Oh, a nice jab from Canelo. That stings. Trout comes back.
Each round was a spectacle, as both men put on a show, Trout with his volume and Alvarez with his power.
Uppercut by Canelo. Counter right by Trout. Trout now going to the uppercut well.
Alvarez produced the biggest moment in the 7th round, dropping his opponent for the first time in his career.
When you have a conventional fighter, and there is Canelo dropping Trout with a straight right.
Trout cleared the cobwebs quickly, and the two fighters continued to exchange blows until the end of the fight, which Canelo won by a decision. Kudos to Trout for fighting like a champion, but he found himself outgunned by a boxing prodigy as good as Picasso, if Picasso had punched people in the face instead of painting masterpieces. But as magical as Canelo was in his younger years, he failed to cast his spell on the GOAT, Floyd Mayweather. Billed as the fight of the century, it became apparent early that Canelo wasn't ready for a fighter of Mayweather's class when they fought.
Second, that should give the Mexican something to cheer for. Right back comes Floyd, so he gets hit by one.
Alvarez could only land 117 strikes on Floyd, losing by a majority decision, which was a bitter pill to swallow.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
But being no longer undefeated came as a blessing in disguise for Canelo as he worked to improve his defense, movement, and counterpunching.
I think Floyd's ability to shoulder roll and his ability to avoid shots and then land shots when you don't think he can is unparalleled. I mean, when he fought Canelo and he was like standing right in front of Canelo and Canelo's just whiffing, it was a life lesson. And then you look at how good Canelo's head movement got after that fight when he realized it. I mean, my God, when he fought Danny Jacobs and Canelo's just standing right in front of him, bobbing and weaving, that's all what he learned from fighting Floyd.
Most importantly, however, Canelo learned to fight through adversity, hold his own in tough situations, a skill that helped him bounce back into winning ways with 3 wins, most notably against the heavy-handed James Kirkland. Kirkland came out guns blazing, tagging Canelo with his left hand multiple times, before pushing him against the ropes and trading shots like it was phone booth boxing.
But he's also susceptible to knockdowns in the early round.
That was in the first round. He was down 3 times in that fight, and right now he's just teeing off on Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo recovered quickly and flipped the switch, pushing Kirkland against the ropes and dropping him halfway through the first round with a flurry of strikes.
Susceptible in the opening round.
Oh, he nailed, and he goes down right on the chin.
From that moment on, Canelo was in the driver's seat, and he spent much of rounds 1 and 2 in the 5th gear, beating Kirkland from pillar to post.
So surely could step in. The bell ends. Expected to try to do that to Canelo, but Canelo's a total charger. He caught him again, and again, and again. Look at these clean shots. He better answer, or surely is surely going.
In the 3rd round, Kirkland produced a comeback, but was dropped to his knees with an uppercut moments later.
Kirkland does. The uppercut caught him coming forward.
The American got up at the count of 7, but moments later, Canelo slept him with an overhand right from the deepest pits of hell.
He's always going to want to fight. He's never going to give up.
His legs are not there. This time, I don't think he's getting up.
In his next fight, Canelo defeated Miguel Cotto to reclaim the ring and WBC middleweight titles and kickstart one of the greatest championship runs in boxing history, which culminated in him winning titles across multiple weight classes.
Saul Canelo Alvarez.
In his first title defense, Canelo faced Britain's Amir Khan, who fought a very technical fight, testing Canelo with jabs and rangefinders early.
155 pounds. They both started their careers.
Canelo patiently picked his shots, with a hard hook to the body being his best shot in round 1. Khan finished the frame with a flurry of strikes before quickly moving out of range.
Yeah, he has it on his shoulders, on his elbows.
The 2nd and 3rd rounds were the same. Khan used his movement and angles to trouble Canelo. Despite a good start, Alvarez's body shots slowly wore Khan down, so much so that the Brit stopped dancing around by round 4, making it easier for Canelo to land his shots.
Left hook.
Canelo landed the bigger shots in the 6th round, and 30 seconds before the end, he sent Khan to a place where time does not exist with a crushing right hand.
Canelo drops Amir Khan. A big shot landed by the Mexican fighter. And it is over. A one-shot from Canelo Alvarez. Dropped Amir Khan and knocked him out.
By then, Canelo had established himself as pound for pound one of the best in the world, so it was only natural that he faced Gennady Golovkin, the best in the world according to the Ring magazine at the time of their first meeting in September 2017, which ended in a draw. The second bout was just as close as the first, although Canelo did a better job of pacing himself. Golovkin used the jab to perfection throughout round one, as Canelo fired back with left hooks and straight left counters. Canelo gave Triple G a taste of his own medicine in the second round, scoring with the jab at regular intervals, while also mixing things up.
Golovkin can't box in the middle of the ring. It's why would you want to?
The third round was the closest, as both fighters had a lot of success.
He continues to lead in that category. Uppercuts,
In the middle rounds, Alvarez began to take control with consistent bodywork that wore Golovkin down, but a thunderous overhand right shifted the tide in Golovkin's favor late in the fight, and he won rounds 10 and 11 with greater output.
Canelo looked hurt by that, but he's firing back.
He did look hurt.
The 12th round decided the fight.
Canelo's face again.
Golovkin started strongly, attacking Alvarez with a left hook followed by a series of jabs. Canelo responded with a body shot and then a right hook after Golovkin fired off a glancing left hook. During the final 2 minutes of the fight, both fighters went for broke.
He needs a knockout.
Canelo was declared the winner and the new WBA and WBC middleweight champion by a majority decision.
His professional career.
A few months later, on December 15, 2018, Canelo added more gold to his trophy cabinet against Rocky Fielding, who was bigger but not better. Despite being the smaller fighter, Canelo sliced through Fielding like a knife through butter, getting in range and landing shots at will. After spending much of round one against the ropes, Fielding was brought to his knees with a picture-perfect body shot from Canelo.
Alvarez at bay. Does he have that stick? Down he goes.
The second round was the same. Fielding tried to utilize his size and strength, but Canelo was just too crafty.
Fielding tries to answer back. Hard right hand by Canelo.
Canelo off of him.
No, he doesn't. Down he goes. Body shot, and he is being chopped down.
The third round was carnage. Fielding opened with a flurry of strikes, but for the next 2 minutes, Canelo had him on the ropes as he picked him apart with combinations like he was a punching bag.
And another one by Canelo.
Canelo fighting like...
In the third minute, Canelo dropped Fielding to his knees again. The Brit got up before the 10 count, but Canelo hit him with a left uppercut followed by a body shot to put an end to Fielding's misery. Not every Rocky story has a happy ending, unfortunately.
That should do it.
It's over.
That is it.
It's over.
Ricky Gonzalez makes the right call.
Canelo's fine run against British boxers continued against Billy Joe Saunders. Heading into the fight, tempers were high because the Brit talked a lot of trash, but he was made to eat his words in only 8 rounds. Canelo controlled Saunders early. He didn't land anything in the first minute, staying at range and stunning his opponent while getting jabbed. But he started loosening up with body shots in the second minute, and soon Alvarez's combinations started to flow.
He's in the danger zone when he backs up. Of course, also in the United Kingdom, good morning to you.
Rounds 2 and 3 were the same. Saunders relied on his jab, and Canelo targeted his breadbasket. Saunders showed positive intent in round 4, landing a few combos and evading Canelo's shots while resorting to theatrics.
Just like that.
The Mexican started round 5 with a body shot, but Saunders moved well to avoid further damage.
The distance and then some good shots.
The Brit doubled up on a jab and caught Canelo's chin. Canelo responded, but Saunders dodged, then landed a head body combo.
Then Canelo in the ring.
He's definitely crafty and clever. I mean, he uses pivots, he uses angles, he's always
Nice left hook.
Canelo landed a thudding body shot in the dying moments of the round.
He doesn't throw the punches out free.
Round 6 was very competitive. Both fighters had their moments, but Saunders was the busier fighter.
Saunders doing the job defensively, caught him.
From the 7th round onwards, Canelo dominated, fighting with more urgency as he walked Saunders down and crushed his face.
66 Canelo. He's only 2 rounds old. Saunders took an awkward step back, and now he's holding up.
The Brit's eye was swollen shut by the end of round 8, and the fight was waved off.
The right eye of Saunders is swelling up. Canelo rallying his troops here at AT&T Stadium.
Saunders went to the hospital, while Canelo went back to the drawing board with the WBO super middleweight belt wrapped around his waist.
They have stopped the fights. It is over.
In his 60th professional fight, Canelo faced Caleb Plant to determine the undisputed super middleweight champion. Plant was undefeated when he fought Canelo, so naturally his confidence was sky high until he was served the humble pie. The first round was slow-paced, as the Mexican patiently made reads on his opponent as Caleb planted jabs regularly. The second half of the round was back and forth, as Canelo targeted the body and Plant continued to jab. After a good first round for Plant, the tide shifted in Canelo's favor as he started to find his range. The Mexican opened round 2 by targeting Plant with a glancing left hook and then with an uppercut.
Ties up, and now
Canelo continued to put his variety on display with his trademark body head combination, which he used to devastating effect for the next 5 rounds.
Canelo right on the side of the head. Up, it's under the guidance of Eddie Reynoso. As Canelo looking to unload and tap. Their fight. I mean, this is who he is.
The American landed some good shots and outworked Canelo in round 8 as well. In rounds 9 and 10, the back and forth continued, but Canelo improved his lead on the scorecards with his power and precision. Round 11 was the most intriguing round of the fight. Canelo started off with jabs before landing a crisp left hook to the body that dropped Plant to his knees. The American quickly got up, but Canelo swarmed him as soon as the fight resumed. Canelo landed a few more punches to make history, becoming the first and only boxer to reign as the undisputed champion at super middleweight, one of his achievements that set him apart from the rest of the boxing world. The Mexican is truly a once-in-a-lifetime talent, who still has a good 4 to 5 years to soar to greater heights and ultimately make it to the top of the boxing Mount Rushmore. The next time Alvarez steps inside the ring, he will defend his undisputed super middleweight title against undisputed super welterweight champion Jermell Charlo on September 30th. Another day, another tough opponent. Will the Mexican continue his reign of terror in boxing,